Hey there, Script Reader Pro family. Today we're going to be talking about flaws in our protagonists and how they can affect the journey overall. So, let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back to our Script Reader Pro YouTube channel. Once again, I'm Scott, and as I said at the start, we're going to talk about your protagonist's flaw in a movie. Okay? Now, every hero or heroine in a movie doesn't always necessarily overcome a flaw, right? And have to overcome it to be successful in the end of their movie, right? Certain genres don't really have that happening. But if you can somehow put that into any movie, it's just going to make it stronger, okay? And that's because it allows your character to at least change a bit, right? There's a big argument of, oh, some characters just don't have to change, right? Ethan Hunt, he never changes, right? Dom Toretto, he never changes, right? He's the same character. She's the same character. Whoever that character is, they don't change over their story. But bits and pieces affect them. And whether they change or not, they're affecting change around them as well, right? But when it comes to a flaw, if you give your character the right type of flaw, it's going to make their journey powerful, right? This is how you emotionally connect with an audience, okay? And I'm going to go over two examples today. One is The Greatest Showman, my favorite musical of all time. Just love it. And the other one I'm going to talk about is an older Clint Eastwood film, A Perfect World, one of my all-time favorite movies. If you haven't seen either of them, go watch them. They're great. So we're going to start with The Greatest Showman because this is a pretty easy flaw to pick out. And you may not agree with how I see the certain flaws of characters, and that's fine. That's what's great about the art of film, is we all get our own opinions on things, okay? But for me, what came to life in that movie is, here is a man who wants to be renowned. He wants to be known as something great. He wants to be the greatest showman of all time, and he'll do whatever he can to find a way to make that happen. That's his flaw. He's so worried about being seen as great and remembered as important and leaving a stamp on life that he forgets about the really important things in his life, which is his family. And there's this brilliant scene not too long into the movie where Hugh Jackman's character is in the office, and the office overlooks this cemetery. And so every day when he's at work and he's looking out that window, he's just seeing a bunch of empty, blank grave sites. And these headstones aren't going to be remembered. And he fears that he's just going to work himself until he's dead, and he'll never be known for anything, and he'll just be another grave in that graveyard. And that's how it stands out. And it really does exemplify the theme of his story. And as you watch the movie and he does grow in notoriety and he becomes more and more famous and important, and his tent is filling up and everything is going great, he starts to lose touch with what excited him about life in the first place, which is the love of his life and their children. And he's always been a dreamer, and he's always dreamed big. And he gets to that point in the end where he realizes he's about to cross a line, and he's forgotten where he came from. He has forgotten all about what is really important. And there's the big musical number in the end, where he's saying, from now on, I'm not going to worry about all of the important people I've met or people who want to be with me or what I'm known for. I'm going to be known for being your husband, being your father to his wife and his children. And he realizes that that's what's important. And without that, it doesn't matter how famous he is. Okay, so that's his flaw, and he has to hit rock bottom to understand that. His wife leaves, he's alone, everything's falling apart, and there's a fire, and he's lost everything. And he realizes that the only things that are important are those people that love him and that he loves. So he overcomes it in a great way, and because of that, that's what makes the whole story powerful, because he realizes the only way to be his greatest showman, the greatest possible, is if he's also a great human being, a great father, a great husband, a great friend to those people in his life. So it's a great journey to watch him struggle to reach for this star that is it's not his need, right? It's his want. But what he really needs is to be accepted and to be seen as great by those who need that the most in their lives. So again, that may not be exactly what you see, but it's a great example of a character who is flawed and must overcome it, or his life is empty. Okay, so great example, easy to follow. It shows you the importance of laying a flaw in that person so that they can change and they can overcome something and put that to death so they can really be victorious in their human journey. In the other example, A Perfect World with Kevin Costner, he is an escaped convict and he's on the run and he kidnaps a young boy to be able to have security and be able to put enough space between him and the law that are chasing him. That character is broken. And it's a perfect example of how the main character has another character that personifies the problems in their life. And this convict blames everything in his life on his childhood and his father and the abuse and the horrible things he went through that turned him into a bad person. And he believes he's not worth anything. He is only as good at what he does bad. All right? He is meant to hurt people. He's meant to be bad, to break the law, to be a convict, to be a bad guy. And he doesn't realize that he is good inside. He can facilitate change. He can be the good guy. And this boy, the time he spends with this boy, the things he sees happen to this boy, it changes him. And he realizes that being free, being on the run, having money, robbing banks, none of it matters if this boy is going to turn out like him. So he overcomes this idea that maybe he can be good. He can't be good in his life. He's been told his whole life he's worth nothing. He's made to feel worthless in all of the situations he finds himself in. And here's a boy, this innocent, naive young boy, and he changes him. He changes him from the inside. And in the end, he just makes sure that the boy is going to be okay. And it's his final deed in life, and it's a good deed. He changes things for this boy, and he changes things for himself, and he goes out being a good man in his eyes. He is worth it. It's a very deep and ingrained flaw in that character, and he doesn't overcome it easily. Every time something happens when he might be good, there's a darkness to it. There's this scene where this man is flipping his kid and doing a little trick with his son, and the son gets excited, and this grandfather smacks him and sends him across the room. And it snaps in our character, and we know then he was abused, and he is going to kill this guy to teach him a lesson. And so even in this good thing that he thinks he's doing by saving this boy and hurting the grandfather so the boy doesn't get hurt anymore, he realizes that even though it's a good choice, it's the evil, it's the darkness in him that is going to cause this moment to end really badly. And it's the young boy and the fear he sees that makes him realize he's not a good man. He is a bad guy and he needs to stop. It's a flaw in a character that's easy for us to identify with, because all of us as humans, we're all broken in some way. We all have something that holds us back. It doesn't allow us, especially as creatives, as writers, it doesn't allow us to believe that we are good enough. There's always something on our shoulder telling us we're not good enough. We're an imposter. Move on. You'll never be good at this. It's part of our process as creatives. Put that into your character. Let them have a flaw that they need to overcome to enrich not only their lives, but the lives around them. Those are two examples that you could draw from. And not every movie has that. There are ensemble films, and a lot of horror movies and genre pieces are not designed for that. But comedies, horror, thriller, Western, whatever, there are characters in there that are overcoming flaws that they have. Whether it's their own confidence or their ego or whatever. Iron Man's a perfect example in a movie like that because he's very egotistical. He's a narcissist. And in the end of his journey, he makes an ultimate sacrifice. So his whole journey over a number of films changes. But even in his first film, when he decides he's not going to keep making weapons of destruction, he's going to use technology and his money and his mind for good, he's overcoming that flaw. And he still doesn't believe himself because his father never really believed in him as far as he understood. So even if it's set up to be something bigger, there are flaws being overcome along the way, or the journey just doesn't have enough fluctuation in it to keep us engaged. These people are real people to us when we're watching a movie, and we want to see people succeed. And the only way to usually succeed is to overcome that flaw, to put death to that flaw, to move on and be that different person. Leave your mark in a different way. That's one of the heavier things that you can look at in your character to make sure that they are going to engage us and they are going to make us want to be around them and root for them to become victorious, even if it's an anti-hero. Flaws are human. Everyone has them. If you don't put one in your character, they won't feel as human. We won't be able to connect to them as well. So think about that. If you like what you saw today, feel free to subscribe below. We have plenty of other videos here. You can check out all of our services at scriptreaderpro.com. We have everything you could ever imagine on there, so feel free to check it out. Watch some of our other videos as well. We've got many of those links up there. We're here to put you in a position to get better with every page. We are writers ourselves. We know what it's like. So till next time, write hard.